Hey guys, what's going on? I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas, and let's get ready for 2020. Here are some great ideas. If you haven't treated yourself or you didn't get the gifts that you were hoping for, here are a few ideas that I think could make any bass player happy. So let's get started. All right, so a great 2020 DI box is the Hotone B Station. This thing is loaded with features. Check out the rear side here. How wonderful is that? You have a lot of options here to shape your signal to the house, to any recording situation, and of course to the house when you play live. Has some good distortion, and it's very affordable. I'll put all the links in the description or in the comments, and then you can follow it up. Of course, one of the favorites is the Vox headphone amp. It's absolutely fantastic. It's got a metronome and a drum machines built in, but the tone is just great. You can even record with it. We got a lot of compliments on the tone. I've been using this for a while, and it's still great. I've had this for over 2 years, and it's still going strong. Batteries last a long time. Wonderful tone, really inexpensive. Great idea for those of you who need to sometimes practice at home with headphones. Speaking of headphones, the Biodynamic D770, 770 Pro. I have the, what do I have? I have the 250 ohm version. You may want to go for a lower ohm version because it can be driven by phones and not so powerful headphone amps. But for example, I'm running this right here into my amp at night, or I'm running it into this guy here. So that's a great idea to have. Speaking of amps, I can highly recommend the Fender Rumble Stage. Not only is it a great bass amp with a lot of power, 800 watts if you hook up an external cabinet. Otherwise it's 400, but that's still a lot. 210s plus a horn, as you can see here, because it's very bright. Normally you can't see those. Very nicely put together, but it's got all these features, and I'm going to post a separate review of this. Look at this. It's got all these tones, SWR. It's got old school, new school. It's got effects. It has octavers. It's got cabinet emulations, amp simulations, all the pedal boards, pedal effects that you want. It's really good, and it's got a pre-out and a post-out. So it's got two DI boxes in the back. You can go run them stereo, or you can feed like a colored signal to the house, so you get a good house signal, and you can have a dry signal back to another amp or something like that. So lots of flexibility. I really like this amp. It has lots of powers in different tones. You can go from super dark to super modern to Motown, anything you want. So also has a pedal board that comes with it. You can use it as a looper, which I really like. You can control the effects on and off. And like I said, as a looper, what you see here is this little moving of the lights. That's just the frame rate of the phone. Moving on to effects. So really quickly, what are great effects for bass players? If I would have to pick one, it would be the Empress compressor. It's really good and super flexible. It's not the cheapest compressor out there, but probably the most pro grade in a pedal form you can find. I'm also using a nice bass chorus to give you that wide melodic tone for ballad playing and soloing. So I recommend that. If you're into funk, then the envelope filter and also the TC electronic octaver. You can go an octave up, an octave down, actually 2 octaves down, and you can download different types of sounds it does. So you can get like organ-like sounds, you can get like synthesizer-based sounds, or just like old classic, the old classic octaver. I think that was Boss. Yeah, I think that's what Jacko used. That would be my recommendation. Speaking of pedals, if you want to spend a lot of money, you have the Headrush looper board, which got like 4 independent inputs, so the whole band can jam out on this thing, literally. And you have a mixer, you can run vocals into it, you can export it. So it's, in essence, it's a 4-track recorder, a live mixing board, an effects board. It's got tons of effects on board. and a looper, so a composition tool. Very, very interesting. Another good thing that doesn't cost much is a wide strap, I should say, for these basses. Preferably leather, and there's much nicer ones. This one, I've had this for years, and it's still going over 10 years and still good. So get a quality leather, but that makes a big difference. That makes a real big difference when you're playing. Even practicing, even if you're sitting in your seat, strap it on, because otherwise you have this hunching posture. What else? So the Relay G10 is really good. So the Relay G10 allows me to be wireless on stage, and what that helps me do is sometimes go back into the audience when we are setting up and check the band's sound. Also, you are more flexible on stage. You don't get entangled with your cables. You can walk to the drummer. You can walk a little bit in the front. I'm a bit more of an active bass player. I move around a lot. I'm not saying it's quintessential to have, but if you get one, this is affordable. It doesn't mess with anybody else's wireless system. It's reliable. It doesn't stick out much. You just plug that into your bass and you're good to go. I did a review on this, which was very quick though, not the greatest review, I admit it. But it's been solid. I've had this now for over a year and it's been super solid. Charge lasts for a long, long time, so you can easily do a long set. Also at home, when that UPS truck comes and rings the doorbell and you are practicing, you can walk up to the door. Not like my friend Nicky, where that happened. He had a boutique amp in his bookshelf. Postman rings. He opens up with a big smile. He was tethered with a long cable and the amp fell down. That is a classic story. Long, long time ago, Nicky, if you hear that, unbelievable that you did that. Well, that's why I'm getting this also. A tuner, a clip-on tuner, and you can leave that on the bass like so. So again, those are gift ideas. Those are little gadget ideas. You can put that in the front or in the back, and it goes by vibration. So no matter how loud it is where you are, it's going to read the tuning. So that's pretty cool, right? It picks up. If you play a note, right? There you go. You could barely hear it, but it picks it up. So that's very good. What else do we have? I think good wireless headphones are critical. I'm going to try to open this one-handed. I just got these, and they are absolutely amazing. Check these out. They're really cool. And they support aptX HD. So that is a almost CD-like quality over Bluetooth. Very, very high bit rate. I think it's 512. So it is compressed, but the level of compression is much, much, much better than a normal Bluetooth headphone. Highly recommend anything like that. Of course, even outperforms in terms of sound. So they say the new EarPods Pro. These are a great deal on Amazon. So if you have a smaller budget, go for something like this. It allows you to enjoy your music the way it's intended to be enjoyed. FLAC files and so forth. Your phone needs to have the same capability though, which most Android phones do. iPhones do not have aptX HD just yet. That's a Qualcomm feature. A metronome and a tuner. Very cheapo device, but can't go wrong with it. A tuner and a metronome. So that almost concludes my gadget portion. Another thing, a rock and roller cart. If you're going from your car, and even though the amps have become much lighter these days, 38 pounds, 40 pounds, but you might have other things to carry at the moment, and you need to cross the street, or some parking really sucks at those places. These collapsible carts, whatever. You can shrink those carts down. They fit on your, passenger seat, wherever. You can also make them longer, and there's different versions. It's invaluable. So last but not least, and that's going to be a big argument point, if you didn't get a bass and you always wanted a bass, I can recommend the Marcus Miller basses. Here's a vintage 5, generation 2. Here is a PJ bass, generation 1. They're absolutely wonderful. They play nice. They sound amazing, especially this guy here. If you blend the precision pickup with the bridge pickup, it's magic. Yeah, really, really good. If you're a Fender fan, but you're not such a fan where you like look down on everything that's not Fender, this is a great alternative. These basses are, they top out at $850, between $550, around $500 and $800. You're getting an amazing bass, and they are active. They have sweepable mids. It's amazing, and of course, yes, Fender is always there. I absolutely love Fender. This is a American Pro 5-string Ash. Wonderful. The only downside is if you don't have a budget of, like in this case, $1,750 and a lot more in Europe, it's an American product after all, it's going to cost you. So cost is a factor. But hey, if you want that bass that you always wanted, go for it. I think those are my ideas for 2020 in the gadget realm, if that's even a word. Well, thanks for tuning in. Have a great 2020. Happy New Year. Yeah. Massive Beats out.